good? It's your girl Tay, and I'm here yet again with another update video. So definitely make sure you guys smash that like button, comment down below, subscribe, plus push your post notification bell button so that way anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. Okay, so this is going to be a rather quick video. I did find an article. Now I do want you guys to keep in mind that this was updated last October the 31st and today is November the 4th. So it's been a couple of days, but this was the only article that I can find. I'm going to be looking for another one to give a full list of the states that are actually doing something to help out during this situation here. And I kind of want to go over a couple of other things that I heard while I was out and about in the streets. Okay, but first and foremost, so today, as of November the 4th, we have, hold on one second here. Okay, we have Washington. Now, these are going to be in order, out of order, so just follow me, okay? We have Washington, D.C. It says a D.C. Mayor, Muriel Bowser, announced she's approved local funding to guarantee November SNAP and WIC benefits for the residents despite the ongoing federal shutdown. We have Alabama. The governor's office says the state does not have the resources to fund SNAP benefits. The mayor of Birmingham announced the city will use $1 million for a reserve fund to help feed families. Alaska. The governor's office says the state does not have the resources to fund SNAP benefits. The mayor of Birmingham, then it goes back into the same thing with Birmingham. Arizona, Governor Katie Hobbs announced a plan on October the 29th to use $1.8 million in state funds to shore up food banks and fund a temporary emergency fresh food program. She called the measure a drop in the bucket, but GOP lawmakers have opposed the idea of a special session to increase aid. We have Arkansas. The state isn't tapping in its own money, but has directed beneficiaries to a list of food banks and other organizations that can help. We know that California has already donated $80 million to food banks and also using the National Guard to help at the food banks. Additionally, we have San Francisco, which is using $9 million from the contingency funds to provide half of the money for a public-private partnership that plans to buy prepaid cards for SNAP recipients in the city. Colorado, it says Governor Jared Polis is seeking legislative approval to use $10 million to support food banks. Connecticut, the state is providing $3 million in emergency funding to Connecticut Food Share, a statewide food bank. Delaware, Governor Mayor declared a state of emergency on October 29th, saying he intends to release benefits weekly to SNAP recipients, okay? Florida legislative Democrats have called on Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, governor, to declare an emergency over the SNAP cutoff. DeSantis has not announced any plans and says Democratic lawmakers should focus on persuading Congress to end the government shutdown. Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp hasn't indicated that the state will take any steps to replace missing benefits. Atlanta officials said they would stop cutting off water service to people who don't pay their bills, and that city-owned or funded housing will stop evicting people or charging late fees through January. Hawaii is providing $2 million for a statewide food bank and also working with Catholic Charities Hawaii and Maui Economic Development Inc. to provide housing and utility aid for families with children who are in financial crisis. They do not have to be SNAP participants. I know this is a lot, but stay with me. Idaho has not announced plans to make up for loss of SNAP benefits. Illinois' Governor J.B. Pritzker plans to sign an executive order, which I believe he did on October the 30th, ordering the state to work with food pantries, grocers, community-based groups, universities, and other to lessen the impact. He also intends to send an additional $20 million to food banks from a fund lawmakers set up earlier in this year. Indiana has not announced any plans to make up for the loss of benefits. Iowa, Governor Kim Reynolds announced a plan to have the state match up to $1 million in donations to Iowa's 6 regional food banks if SNAP is not federally funded by November the 3rd. She also said the National Guard would be available to help with food distributions. Kansas has not announced any plans to help with the loss of benefits. Kentucky has not announced any plans to help with the loss of benefits. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry signed an executive order as of the 24th of October and called for state funding of SNAP benefits. Lawmakers on October the 29th authorized using $150 million in state funding to avoid an interruption in SNAP benefits. Maine Governor Janet Mills has directed her administration to explore alternatives to assist SNAP beneficiaries and also announced $1.2 million to support anti-hunger programs. Maryland Governor Wes Moore declared a state of emergency on October the 30th and made $10 million available to food banks and other organizations. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey announced that the state payments to food banks would double for November. The state usually provides $4 million monthly, but the boost brings it to $8 million. Michigan Democrats in Michigan House introduced a plan to use $9 million out of the backfill SNAP benefits. The party is in the minority in that chamber. Minnesota has said it can provide up to $4 million in emergency funding for food pantries. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves said in an October 27 social media post that there is no simple way state governments can step in to fill the funding gaps left by the shutdown. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe, I think I said that right, announced October 29th that he has directed $10.6 million to go towards providing meals to seniors and another $5 million to help food banks. He said there is no mechanism for the state to pick up the tab for SNAP benefits during the shutdown. Montana, the state government does not plan to cover the funding suspension without a promise that the federal government would reimburse it. Nebraska, the state said SNAP benefits would be paused beginning October the 29th and has directed people to area food banks for help. Nevada, this has ended up being a longer video than I had expected. We might have to do this in two parts, but here we go. Nevada lawmakers on October the 30th plan to consider the governor's proposal to provide $30 million to food banks and $200,000 to deploy Nevada's National Guard troops to assist with food distribution. New Hampshire, the state on October the 29th approved using $2 million to set up mobile food pantries for SNAP recipients. New Jersey, the state on October the 29th approved using $2 million to set up mobile food pantries for SNAP recipients. New Mexico, the state, same thing, approved funding to set up food pantries for SNAP recipients. Same thing for New York. I do believe that there was something additional for New York because I talked about it in a previous video, but that's why I said I am going to be looking for another article and probably come back in a separate video and give you that updated information. Same thing, New York. North Carolina, Governor Josh Stein said the state will give $10 million to food banks if benefits are delayed. Corporate donors and foundations also announced $8 million in contributions. North Dakota, there's a repeat. I'm not seeing anything for North Dakota. Ohio, Governor Mike DeWine announced the state will contribute $7 million immediately to food banks and up to $18 million more starting November the 7th. Oklahoma, Governor Kevin Stitt has directed state agencies to look for ways to help and has encouraged residents to donate time, money, or food. He said he's discussing with lawmakers whether to allocate money from a rainy day fund. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek has declared a state of emergency, directed $5 million to the state's food bank network, and called on residents to help their neighbors. Pennsylvania lawmakers are pushing for $60 million in emergency help for food banks and other food programs. A budget stalemate has held up $25 million for food banks this year. Governor Josh Shapiro has said the government cannot backfill the loss of SNAP benefits. Rhode Island, the state is planning to load EBT cards for 65,000 people who also receive TANF using TANF reserves. This leaves out 80,000 SNAP beneficiaries who are also not enrolled in TANF. It is also distributing 200,000 to food banks, okay? South Carolina, the state is opening its nonprofit that usually helps during national disasters to raise money and using volunteer state guard to help with food banks. South Dakota, the state says recipients would not receive benefits if SNAP does not have federal funding for November. Tennessee, the state launched a website to connect beneficiaries with food banks and other charitable services, but did not announce new funding. Texas, the state says it will help connect families with existing assistance. Utah, Republican Governor Spencer Cox has not indicated plans to help, essentially is what this says. Vermont, the emergency board in Vermont approved a plan to use 6.3 million in state money to cover 15 days of SNAP benefits and to provide 250,000 to food banks. And then we are going to pause so I can get a sip of water. And we're back. Okay, so I think I left off with Virginia, and we actually only have a couple of more states. Virginia says the state has announced using a new state fund to provide weekly benefits to SNAP recipients. Washington, the state is preparing to lay off. Actually, this is going in the opposite direction. But the state is preparing to lay off 633 people, about half of its workforce that administers the SNAP program. It is also shifting 2.2 million per week to help food banks. West Virginia, the state launched a donation drive that includes up to 13 million in state matching funds. Governor Patrick Morrisey has also directed the National Guard to help transport food to rural areas and schools. Wisconsin, Democratic Governor Tony Evers has asked the Republican-controlled legislature to release 69 million to help cover the shortfall in the state. Lawmakers have not taken any action. Wyoming, Governor Mark Gordon was exploring options and urging donations to food pantries, churches, and other charities. And it looks like that is absolutely all that I have in this particular article. So I will be linking this article down below for you guys, as always. With any information that I provide, I like to leave it down below so you guys can see the source that I am utilizing. Now, aside from that, before I move on to this next article, so one thing that I did hear today while I was out and about doing my little research was that the Rhode Island, I believe, federal judge that has stated that the Trump administration needs to pay out these benefits, the one that said that it was unlawful for them not to be administering or distributing these benefits during the government shutdown, has today, as of November the 4th, Tuesday, has scheduled a hearing for November the 6th, whatever the date of Thursday is, to figure out when they're going to be paying out full benefits. Okay. Now I don't think that that means that they're going to be paying out full benefits when they do this distribution of the $4.65 billion that they have in the contingency funds. From my understanding, what that means is, let's just say, as I was telling you guys in the last video, a lot of the states have to upgrade their systems and then redo the coding so that everything can be sent out. Now, the USDA has stated that they have already sent over the information to the states, everything that they need so that they can go ahead and recode their systems for the payout amounts. Once the states update their system, they can send that information back over to the USDA, and then they can finally start to distribute these funds. Like I said in the previous video, it's really going to depend on the type of system that your individual state has, whether or not it's old, new, whatever the case may be, as to how long it would take for all of the finalizing and recoding to be done. But with that being said, what I believe that the judge is trying to say is, okay, well, if we get the government back open within the next couple of days, which I highly doubt, but let's just say that they do. Right now, they're in the process of recoding the system to do partial payments. If the government, by chance of a miracle, should actually open back up within the next couple of days, then they're going to have to recode the system all over again to now be ready for the full payment, which in that case, then the remaining payment for SNAP recipients will go out. So that's a roundabout, more complicated way of saying that there's a possibility of back pay. I'm not really sure, and I haven't really seen much information to actually confirm or deny that, but I did want to just put that out there. Supposedly there's going to be a hearing on Thursday, so I'll definitely be keeping you guys updated if and when that does happen. Now, moving on from that, Choctaw Nation launches temporary food assistance amid the disruption. So we have the Choctaw Nation in Oklahoma is launching a temporary food assistance program for tribal members nationwide who will not receive federal supplemental nutrition assistance program, also known as SNAP. The initiative is part of the Choctaw Nation's Sustainability Fund, established in 2012. To support tribal members during these times of need. The decision comes after the federal government, of course, has been shut down. Quote, many of our members around the nation rely on SNAP benefits to feed themselves and their families. With the federal government temporarily unable to meet its obligations, we look forward ways to help tribal members in need. Okay, so eligible tribal members and guardians of tribal member children can apply for a one-time $150 assistance November the 3rd, which was yesterday, through November the 14th. Okay, the Choctaw, I'm not even going to try to say that, but there is a member services portal on the CNO's website. Once approved, recipients will receive an electronic benefits transfer card, or EBT, through the mail. Applicants must be Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma tribal members that reside anywhere in the U.S., approved for SNAP benefits, provide a copy of their SNAP card, and sign an attestation agreement. The Choctaw Nation is also extending the application deadline for its Thanksgiving and Christmas food vouchers through November the 8th. The vouchers are available to eligible low-income Choctaw members living within the reservation who do not apply for temporary food assistance program. And then, of course, there is a link within this article to learn more and apply for these programs. Visit the CNO webpage, and then there is a link here. So I'm going to be linking this down below. I think that is good. Some additional help, $150. It's not much, but it's $150, more than what a lot of people have right now. So anything is better than nothing. But yeah, that is absolutely all. I was kind of hoping to have this video be a shorter one, but I did just kind of want to update you guys on that. There's honestly just been a whole bunch of back and forth from everybody. I was seeing that Trump had actually put on, what is it, Truth Social or whatever that platform is. I don't have access to it. I don't have, it's too many social media apps. But from my understanding, that he had put on there that he doesn't want them, that he will not be paying out any SNAP benefits until the government opens back up. But then the press secretary from the White House came out and said no, that they will be paying out the benefits, the partial benefits, as soon as the information that the states are waiting for gets transferred over from each individual state. So I hope that the states individually get this information up and going as soon as possible. I know a lot of people are probably hoping that they are in one of those states where the system is upgraded, up to date, and that we don't have to do this the slow mail way via the internet. But you never know. At any rate, I hope this information was in some way helpful or useful to you guys in the least little bit. Do me a favor, smash that like button if you haven't already. Really run those likes up. It really does help to let YouTube know that you like what I'm doing and you want me to stick around. I did manage to go out and, I don't know if we can say it, but y'all can see the sticker. And in light of that, I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and drop some red hearts down below and let me know if you went out and did what I did, okay? You ain't got to tell me what you decided. I'm not going to tell you what I decided, but I think that it's important that we utilize the rights that we have before they try to get them out the door too. But drop some red hearts down below in the comment section. Let me know that you made it all the way to the end of the video. Again, do not forget to check out the description box, as I will leave the links to these two articles down there so that you guys can take a look at that for yourself. And as always, I want you guys to remember to keep up to date with your state individually. Check the Department of Social Services or Department of Human and Health Services, whatever it is called in your state, to keep updated with the latest information about how SNAP benefits will be distributed or if they are making any type of headway. If you guys have any additional information as well for your individual state, definitely share it down below in the comment section. And as always, I'm going to say, remember to live, love, elevate, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.